You better know who you are. Ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ lọ́wọ́, Olúwa ló wà, ọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ́wọ́.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 506. Welcome to today's session, today's celebration 18th session. It's still the social impact session series. Remember, it's 18th social impact sessions. We'll be having our second wealth creation session this evening, and we have a really amazing guest in the house that I'll be discussing with. And we'll be discussing rather on a really amazing topic. It's a topic that is of major concern to every young person that is aspiring to be a business leader in this time. I'll run through the profile of the person that I'll be hosting today, and then we'll hit the discussion right away. Before doing that, I want to welcome our friends that are joining us via YouTube. Thank you very much for joining this meeting. God bless you, and I'm sure that you have a really amazing session in here today. I'll be sharing my screen now so we can read the profile of our guest. All right, it's still the celebration 18, the celebration of God's faithfulness in our youth artist organization, Young Gazo, and in my life. Today is the fifth day of celebration. We are counting down to the 18th day of celebration, which will be on September the 1st of 2021. I'm your host. My name is Charles Obrinawa, and I have a really amazing friend in the house today. His name is TOSIN IKUYINMINU. I hope I got that pronunciation right. TOSIN IKUYINMINU. Now, TOSIN IKUYINMINU is a young communication savvy whose career mission is to partner and work with brands, businesses, and individuals in telling their unique story using digital tools. After acquiring his diploma in mass communication from Olabisi Onabanjo University, his passion for corporate communication, digital marketing, and business branding made him start a brand development and digital media company called Hypeman Africa in September 2017. He is regarded as a thought leader when it comes to the subject matter of digital media, with proven vast experience in the industry for over 3 years, and has been recognized severally as one of Nigeria's young brightest minds. Okay. His interest in youth development and governance started in 2019 after he was selected among the top 11 youths in Lagos State under the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development, as he was elected as the Lagos State Deputy Youth Ambassador representing Lagos Division. After his tenure ended as one of Lagos State's youth ambassadors, he was later appointed as the new media aide to the Lagos State Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Honorable Olusegun Ganiyu Dawodu. If he is not caught up with too much work as a digital marketer, you would most likely find him always training young people like himself on digital skills, some of which include digital marketing, branding or graphic designing, content marketing, social media marketing, copywriting, and so on. This, as a result, has made him facilitate several intensive trainings, both online and offline. Still about TOSIN. He has also participated in several advocacy projects, some of which include is Abi HIV campaign with Lagos State AIDS Control Agency, LASACA, HIV self-testing campaign with Nigerian Institution of Medical Research, World Contraception Day campaign with Academy for Health Development Nigeria, ahead Nigeria, International Youth Day campaign, and Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development, and so on. Okay. His brilliant perspectives on youth, media, and social issues have given him the privilege to be hosted as a guest on BBC Global Questions, Television Continental, TVC, and Wazobia Max TV. His passion for digital literacy in the Nigerian educational sector made him start an initiative at the subsidiary project of his company called Digital Camp, which is aimed at equipping students, undergraduates, graduates, and working professionals on the core digital skills needed for the future world of work, thereby closing the skill gap facing the Nigerian employment sector today. Above all, he's a young man that strongly believes he has the capacity to shape the world better, with perspective becoming a thought leader and a global voice. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening I have with me in the house today TOSIN IKUYINMINU. Good evening, TOSIN. Can you hear me? And I hope I got pronunciation of your surname right.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Sorry.
TOSIN, would you mind? All right, I'm listening.
You want me to share my screen?
No, not your screen.
Okay.
I want to ask if you would like to put on a video.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you want my face to show.
Yeah.
Is that compulsory?
Let's see your face. Everyone wants to see your face.
Just give me some seconds.
All right, no problem. No problem. While we are waiting for TOSIN, thank you to those joining us via YouTube. I'm very certain about it that at the end of this session, you'd leave here a better version of yourself, and you'd have more knowledge about the world of digital media and the social media world. You can see Ms. Omara, Ms. Modupe joining us also. Iri, how are you doing? Okay.
Okay. This is not convenient, but I still have to do something. So I just had to I didn't plan that it was going to be a video offshoot, but it's fine. It's fine. No problem. At least you can see my face. Or do you want me to take off my rugged cap? I love this cap.
I noticed that you have a great liking for caps. And I was saying that one of these days, and I told you once that I want to buy a cap to look like you.
Anyway, no problem. It's fine. It's fine. So let's kickstart because of time. All right.
All right, that's right. It's amazing having you in the house. Thank you very much for joining us. And I must say you have a really rich profile. Your profile is so loaded. It's so wonderful. Well done.
Yeah,
so
thank
TOSIN,
you.
In your profile, there's something that you are CEO of Hype Man Africa, and Hype Man Africa has been running for about 3 years now. 3 years, I'm right?
Yes, 3 years.
So what do you guys do at Hype Man Africa? What do you guys hope to achieve? What's the whole idea behind it?
Okay, so Hype Man Africa is a brand development and digital media company. I started the company while I was 20. So it wasn't like I had a full-fledged idea of, what the business or what the vision is all about. But I have a philosophy that I would always learn to start, all right? Then as much as I move along the line, clarity would unfold itself. That has always been my goal and my objective. So for me, it wasn't really to the fact that I had a full-fledged idea. So as I was moving, though I already had a passion that I was going to set up a consulting firm. But one of the criteria to set up a consulting firm in Nigeria is a aside the fact that you need to have a lot of certifications, you still need to have a long number of years of experience.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you. We can.
Okay, fantastic. So I started roughly in 2018, not having a full-fledged idea of what I wanted, but along the line, I then realized that as I started, the picture started becoming clearer. So initially, I started as a communication consulting firm, right? But later on, I later figured that, okay, when you say communication, what is communication now? And how does it resonate to the new age and time, all right? Then another angle I started looking into is why would people want to pay a young man like you for communication consulting? What can you offer to the table? Right. That was when I started doing my research. Then and from that end, I realized that the new age communication consulting now is digital media. All right. And that is where conversations are going. That is where people are having conversations. That is where trends is happening. That is where the big actions are being made. So that was how I started diving, studying deeper, and I had to take some specific courses on digital marketing. So I already even started the company before I started learning digital, marketing. So it's more like I took a step, and from that step, the next thing started unfolding itself. And I was still running the business, and I realized, okay, um, in digital marketing there are key skills you need to have so that you reduce the idea of outsourcing some job roles. Okay, so there are some gigs you will get as a digital marketer. You might need to design content, right? You might need to do copywriting, you might need to do a bit of technical and running ads and all of that, strategy development. So it was after I started learning along the line, I realized that there are some other additional skills I need to learn. So along the line, I started learning. I now learn graphic designing. I do my designs. I do my copy myself. So it reduced as a startup. So I won't get a job and I start looking for somebody to outsource copywriting to, outsource graphics designing to. I wanted to pack all the money to myself. You understand? So that was how, because that's the only way I could sustain, because already I was just starting out, and most clients at that age, the moment they realize you don't have much experience, they would negotiate you less. They won't give you your price value. So if they're already negotiating you less, how, if you now look at the money they are paying, where we did not get money to give out to outsource some other roles to other persons. So you just have to learn everything and do everything, and along the line you learn along the job. So that was how it has been for me. So later on, the company's clarity came, and we now decided to set up and stand as a brand development and digital media company. So we don't just do digital marketing, right? We also do branding. So for organizations that are struggling with perception management for their company, for organizations that want clarity in terms of how they want their company to be perceived. So we do a bit of PR, all right? We do a bit of brand management. We now do marketing generally. Then we also do communications consulting too. So it's more like we are doing everything that connects to how a particular brand or individual is being perceived by the masses. So if it connects to advertising, if it connects to customer service, if it connects to public relations, if it connects to digital marketing and all of that, we just revolve our services along that niche. And that was how we started. So that was why the technicality of our services now cut across website development, social media management, digital marketing consulting, and execution too. We also dived into brand management and the like. So all of that put together now formed the idea. And I could tell you for free that I didn't start knowing all of this. As I started, clarity began to unveil itself, and that's where we are now, and that's what we have always been.
Wow, that's so amazing. Starting a company that is that is getting into the global sphere without any experience, any much experience. It's really amazing, and I think lots of youths are having issues there. You see some people jump into it, but like now you said something that really made sense. You said as you got into the business, that prompted you to start learning, to start to quest to acquire most of those skills, and that made you to get clarity in what the brand was really about. That's really amazing. That's really amazing. So it's more of like seeking knowledge, questing for knowledge, to become a better version of yourself, gives you more clarity on what you are doing. That's right. I agree with you there. Now you're a thought leader in the digital media industry. How is this for you? When you talk about the Nigerian digital industry, especially when you want to look at the youth-led ones, TOSIN IKUYINMINU is a major name there. So how has it been for you?
Okay. The journey for thought leadership for me was after I evolved from just doing the job to start teaching the job. Right. So and that's a whole different conversation on its own. A lot of people are good at what they do, but they don't have the communication skills to teach it. All right. So that was a skill I had to develop. Though one of the raw skills I have, some people call it talent, but I prefer calling it raw skills. Right. It is learned, but it comes easy. Right. So one of the raw skills I developed very early was ability to communicate. I am a good, I don't use, okay, I'm a natural good public speaker. Yes, it comes very easy for me. So I don't struggle with, engaging a crowd, talking to people, being very social. It doesn't come stressful for me. It just comes very easy. And for one or two avenues where I've been opportune to talk to people, or I've been invited for one or two speaking engagement, people are always amazed on how I'm able to deliver my ideas and all of that. So one of the things that have helped me into thought leadership is not just my ability to get the job done, but my ability to also teach the job and share wisdom. Right. So it's not just about doing the work. How can you be seen? How can you be known? In fact, we are living in a digital driven world now, where it is not what you can do, it is what you show that you can do. So a lot of people are out there. In fact, there are a lot of young people out there that are smarter than you are, that are smarter than I am. But we want to see the expression of that smartness. If we don't see it, then it's more or less like it's not there, right? So the people we say are funny are those we see on Instagram, putting out Instagram skits, right? So, and there are lots of people out there that can do more fantastic, stuffs like that can make you laugh to stupor, you understand? But the ones that we know are the ones we see. So we are in the age of expression. So if you're not expressing, nobody knows you, right? So one of the things that's taking me to that ladder of thought leadership is deliberately seeking for platforms to express my knowledge. That's one. Then also, when it's now avenues to express my knowledge, I do it excellently well. And that has over time given me that climax. In fact, that's what has given me the opportunity to work in the places I work, to be featured on the platforms I've been opportune to be on several speaking engagements that I've had over the past few years. So yes, it's good to know the job, but also learn how to teach it, because when you learn how to teach it, it gives you a faster, leverage to becoming a thought leader at what you do.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Learn the job, know the job, and teach the job. Makes sense. Really amazing. You were elected as one of Lagos State's Deputy Youth Ambassador, representing Lagos Division. The whole of that experience, how was it for you?
Yeah, it was fantastic. For me, I would say that was the first time in a long while I was outside. I was doing something outside my area of specialty. Right. My area of specialty is, as you know, is communications, marketing, and media. All right. So I got the opportunity to know about the the platform under the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development by my younger brother, Raphael, by name. So he just told me that, Tosin, you have a great public speaking skills. You know how to socialize with people. I think this is a platform for you. So at first, initially, I didn't go there with the goal of becoming a fellow youth ambassador. My focus then was to just learn something outside the box of what I have been used to learning, which is digital marketing, communications, and the rest. So their focus was on leadership, teaching people leadership in a different way. And we also got to be exposed to the political dealings at the local level of our state. So I started learning some structural things about Lagos State as a whole, and also the leadership, and also the economic and social angle of the state. So it was a different exposure for me. So as I went in there, I realized that there are some skills you learn. Those skills, I call them the new age skills. Those skills, no matter the industry you find yourself, those skills will always take you to the top, right? And one of those skills I observe is communication skills, ability to communicate. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter the profession you find yourself. Your ability to know how to communicate efficiently has a way to make way for you, no matter the industry you find yourself. In fact, there are situations whereby you might not be as good as people think you are, but ability to generate ideas from different sources and communicate it intelligently can give you vast number of opportunities. And that's one of the things young people need to learn. So I realized that my communication skills gave me an advantage at the platform, all throughout the training. And aside that, I had great social skills. So ability to understand people, relate with people, a little bit of emotional intelligence, also studying people's strength, and leadership skills. I had some leadership skills because, I mean, there's no way you can do business without knowing or understanding leadership, because you would work with people, you would share visions and ideas with them. So that was what, those are the core skills. I would say communication skills I had already, leadership skills I had already, some social skills I also had already, which is soft skills that I also had already, sort of helped me on the platform. So, and there's no way, there's this popular saying that you know go see better thing, may you come on eye. You get. So when I went through the platform, most of the people that managed the process, they saw that, oh wow, this guy is fantastic. He has this, he has that. Though he might not have a strong knowledge and political knowledge about Lagos State and the origin, but he has some skills that would do well to represent the young people of Lagos State. And that was how I was made part of the Lagos State Youth Ambassadors. And for me, it was a great platform. And after that portfolio, I started doing a lot of study around Lagos State politics, youth development. So right now, I can assure you that there's a huge difference between the me in 2018 and 19 and the me now, because the me now is more exposed and vast. I am more vast. If you engage me in a conversation in agriculture, I have something to say. If you engage me in a conversation in electricity, I have something to say. If you engage me in a conversation on technology, I have something to say. If you engage me in a conversation on agriculture or security or politics generally, or different spheres of influence, I always have something to say, because I've been able to study vast and learn outside my scope of expertise. And that's another skill we must learn as young people in this new age generation. Opportunities can come from different angles, but your ability to have something to say regarding every sphere gives you an edge over every other person. And one of my mentors call it, there's a difference between breadth of knowledge and depth of knowledge. I'll recap that. Breadth of knowledge and depth of knowledge. Breadth of knowledge is knowing something out of everything. Breadth of knowledge is knowing something out of everything. Then depth of knowledge is knowing everything out of something. Depth of knowledge is now knowing everything about something. So you must create that balance in your life. There must be an area when people ask you questions, you are so deep rooted. In fact, you can give them technical information around that area of specialty. But when it comes to now other spaces, you can't just be dumb. You can't be dumb. In fact, it's one of the key to relevance in this new age. You have to know something. You have to have at least a surface level information around every spheres of life. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So that is what has helped me so far. I now have a vast level of knowledge around anything around me, and it has improved my level of exposure and my level of intelligence.
Well, that's really, really, really amazing, I must say. One part stood out for me, the breadth of knowledge and the depth of knowledge part. I really appreciate that you have to have a pick of everything, and then
Yeah.
you must know something. If I got that right,
Yeah.
can you repeat that part again, please?
Breadth of knowledge is something about everything.
Okay.
Why depth of knowledge is
Everything
knowing everything about
about
something.
something. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That makes sense. That makes sense. That would be my new slogan from henceforth. Okay, so now you've been going on and on and on about communication. Did you always envision yourself getting into what you are doing now? Did you always see yourself growing up getting into this? What were the challenges you faced? I don't know if you had seen yourself growing into who you are today. Perhaps you would have shared it with some people, and what was their response to it?
Okay, I would say, I think I've answered your question. I never had an idea that I'll be doing what I'm doing. In fact, I never had an idea that I'll be who I am today, right? So the profile you read some minutes ago, I was like, come on, is this me? No. So it was never initially my plan. I mean, I didn't have it all figured out. So it's just some things just happen along the line. Some people call it coincidence, while other people call it grace, whichever way you want to place it. It has always happened. Okay, so something just happened along the line, and boom, and I'm on this platform, and I'm doing this, and I'm with this person, and it just happens. Okay, some people call it coincidence, while others call it grace. But I'll just take the both. That is what has been helping me so far. Okay, it hasn't always been me, understanding the whole planning, the strategy, and all of that. God has a way it comes in, to our lives individually. So that has been what has happened. So I would say that generally, I would say right from my childhood, my parents always saw me as a multi-talented kind of kid. There are people like that.
Yeah.
That you see them today, they are singing and they are so good at it. And the next 3 minutes, they are dancing, like, they are so good at it. And the next few minutes, again, you see them carry a pen or a biro, and the next few minutes, they are drawing something and they are so good at it. There are people like that. They are just, yeah. So, yeah, I was that kind of kid that was literally good at everything. All right. So to the extent where I used to tell my dad what to wear, sometimes I'm like, Dad, you can't wear this polo on this trouser. It does not connect. So so who saw me there was say, this guy can be a fashion, person. But meanwhile, I was just doing me, right? So one of the things that helped me was I volunteered for a lot of opportunities, so to explore my skills. And to be honest, I had to make a decision at a certain stage in my life, because I could remember one of the most difficult stage of my life was within the period of my of age, I think, yes, age 16 to 19 was a big period for me, because I think that should be about 3 years. Yeah, within 3 years or so was a big, like, I was so confused. Like, if you literally see me, you know that I was a confused person. Young but confused. And why was that? Because I realized I was good for many things. Like, I was just everywhere. Like, I am very funny. If you have not met me in person, you would not know. If you meet me in person, you will say, guy, you should be a comedian. I am extremely funny. I can be so spontaneous, and I'll make thousands of people. In fact, one of the reasons why people like me to come for that event and talk is you would laugh. No, don't worry. You will just laugh. The audience will laugh. So I don't want to even be funny on this session because I don't want that to happen here. So I used to be that kind of kid that was very vast. I could do a lot of things. Could dance very well. I could sing. I always look good. I'm always intentional about how I look. I could draw. Like I could literally draw. I have some. I still have. I at home as my parents' place. I still have some of my old drawings there. Like wow, I just look at some of those things and I'm like, man, did I write actually, do this and all of that. So I had that vast skill. So for me, I would say it was two things that gave me clarity. One, I had to evolve to a stage where I stopped looking for purpose and I started creating a purpose for myself. All right. God, or I always say this, God's ultimate purpose for mankind generally is for mankind to add value to the other man. Right? God's ultimate purpose for mankind is to add value to the other man, right? And in return, he said you rewarded, in heaven. That was the whole goal. In fact, while for those that are Muslim tuning in, I'm not trying to be, but I mean I'm a Christian, so I would give I would give a biblical perspective. So all throughout yes, all throughout the period when Jesus Christ was on earth, it was all about the people, people. It was engaging people, doing miracles, so it was all about that was the kingdom for him. So that understanding shaped my mindset to see that life itself is just doing something for the other man. And it's quite interesting that we are in a world where everybody is all about themselves. And that's not the way God designed life to be. God designed life that we should do something for the other man. So that's why when the whole intent of different space is always doing something for mankind. So from technology, the solution is driven for mankind, to transportation for mankind, from politics is for mankind, right? To health is for mankind, education for mankind. So everything is connected to serving or doing something for the other man, for your fellow man. All right. So I realized that's the ultimate purpose. And God is not really interested in how you do it. What God is interested in is you are adding positive value. All right. We are the ones that now decide that, oh, I want to do my own by, in the medical line. I want to do my own as an artist. I want to do my own as a musician. I want to do my own as different areas. So we are the one that actually, we humans, we are the one that designed the thing called career. All right. So which wasn't God's intent. So the first job God gave Adam was, hey, take care of these things. So it was a job. Right. But later when mankind started coming in, they started giving birth to children and population started rising, man's ultimate focus was to serve the other man. So I realized that it was enough for me to start looking for purpose, asking people questions, because that time, if I go for any seminar, the first question I would ask then was, sir, please, how can I discover my purpose? It now became like a household question. We're like, that purpose guy, that's that purpose guy. So he's always looking for purpose, so I had to shift from looking for purpose to creating one for myself. And what that did for me, I now had to sit down and look into my strength. Then I now had to channel it to observe the needs around my environment and say, okay, I connected my strength and the needs in my environment. I now looked into profitability, because how can I make money for myself, feed myself, sustain myself? So I put all of that, pinpoints together, and that was what dived me into what I am doing. In fact, I initially started as a public speaker. You will see me in different events. I was like a strong motivational speaker. If you hear me give quotes, you'll be amazed. My quotes can change the world. That's when you hear me start saying things like, if you don't eat rice, you will not rise. Drink tea to tea up. So fantastic flow. So for me, all of that experiences was a learning point for me. I kept learning. In fact, I am who I am. I'm where I am today because of constant learning. All right. I'm still learning. Even in my space, I am still learning because, in fact, what I do today, you have to keep learning. If not, a young person tomorrow will come and disrupt you, take you out of the market. So you have to keep learning, keeping yourself abreast of new information because of things are changing on a daily basis. So you cannot just be caught unaware. If not, you'll be off the market. So for me, it's consistent learning, and that's what has been the backbone for me.
That's amazing. I wouldn't, you said you were the multi-talented kid that is, growing up. I won't be wrong if I say you can also be a pastor. So I won't be surprised seeing you tomorrow as a pastor.
That's another interesting part because a lot of people say that if you hear me preach the word of God,
wow,
my brother,
hallelujah.
Man of God.
Loading soon.
No way. But we won't go that route. God will not call us now.
And you also started giving the quotes again too. So I won't be surprised to tomorrow seeing you as motivational speaker.
Yes. I've always been doing that. The thing is, I don't take it as a profession, but I've always been doing that.
It's amazing. You're really doing an amazing job. I would love us to get into the topical questions now. So we discuss why we are gathered here today, the topical discussion. But this story, we are going to definitely hear everything about it someday. Do you have any, growing up now, you shared a particular challenge, so I won't want to go back into the line of challenges. You shared something about finding purpose. You left purpose and now decided to focus on adding value. So I'll see that whole process of trying to find purpose as a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. So now let me get into this. Have you, do you have any particular leaders, any business leaders now that you look up to?
Yes, I have a lot. I don't have one in particular, but as I evolve in life, you start seeing new people that you always want to emulate. You want to look like them. You understand? So there was a time in my life where I had interest in becoming, a presenter. So then I was really admiring Joseph Benjamin. I don't know if you know Joseph Benjamin very well.
I do know him very well.
Presenter for Project Fame then. So later on, I wanted to also be a motivational speaker. So at some point, I was now admiring what's this guy named Fela Durutoye. Yes. So later on, after a while, I was now interested in people that have they're not just motivational speakers, they are technical, they have a niche and they've been doing well. So at some point, I now looked into my space and my industry and I started admiring Japheth Omojuwa. So currently right now, I admire myself. so I can say for now, the closest gap to the person I am actually looking in my industry that is doing fantastic work, that I'm kind of really impressed at what he's doing is Adebola Williams, rather. Yes, because what he has been able to, the impression he has been able to create in the media industry. It's more or less like that. But we all have our different niche. Like I said, I'm not trying to be like him. I just want to create my own niche and do my thing. But there are just some people that are phenomenal in what they are doing, and I celebrate them.
Right. You forgot to add that now that you would soon become a pastor, you would probably be looking at Pastor Adeboye or
No. Okay, Adeboye is a great man. It's like.
See, you've already started seeing it.
But I love Oyedepo because of how emphatic his ideas on Christianity is. Let's not go down that route before we start preaching right now. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I can see how enthusiastic you are about sharing the word of God, though. Oyedepo is my father in the Lord.
Yeah, exactly. It's all our father.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
All right. So now let's get into the topic of discussion.
Right.
We want to talk about utilizing the power of social media and its opportunities to facilitate wealth creation. And I know many people are joining us today because we are talking about money. Well, when some people told me, "Ah, you are bringing to IKUYINMINU." I said, yes, that guy is making so much money, so much money. So I want to come and learn how he's generating wealth. So this question now is how or what? Okay, let's have it. What are the opportunities of social media? The opportunities that social media offers to engender wealth creation. That's a big question. Big question.
Okay, the foundation of social media was for communication, right? Which is the sharing and consumption of data, or we call it information, right? So that was the foundation, all right? It was basically share ideas, I like it, or I comment. So it was the science of the platform was to create conversation. So
Right.
as it evolved over the years, people now started seeing that, okay, if we can use this as a platform for conversation, then it can be used as a platform for transaction, right? So the core objective for social media was not for business, right? Was not for wealth creation. But if you can create a platform where people can communicate, then that means that platform can create interactions for transactions. So that's how social media evolved. And many people don't know. In fact, when people hear of social media, they are now thinking, oh, how can I make money? How can I make money? No, that wasn't the foundation. So if you don't understand that dynamics, you can't know how, or you won't understand how to make money with it. Right. So that's why when people post pictures of their product or services on social media and they don't get sales, they start making noise that this social media thing safe. I've been trying it for 5 years now. I've not made any money, and they'll be saying there's money in it. There's no money. They're just making noise. They're just no. That was not the intent of its foundation. All right. So for you to now sell on the platform, you need to understand the foundation, then follow through the dynamics to get the results you are actually chasing. So for social media, I would say there are certain approaches people need to learn. All right. So some people don't know how to do it. That's why they engage individuals and organizations like us to say, okay, let me engage you. Can you do this for me? Then we do that because of our technical know-how on how to make it happen. So you can't just say, social media, I'll push my stuff and I'll make money. No, there is a way it should be done because you are dealing with human minds. Some people think social media is a platform where you just talk to people and you command them and they will act. No, it doesn't work that way. You are dealing with human beings like you on the platform. So there is a tactic, there's an approach. The same way you want to woo a girl, for example, you want to ask her out, that will you be my girlfriend? You can't just go and say and start using direct languages. You have to come. Sometimes you might even take you to do some research about the girl, understand the way her perception about some certain things. Then you also need to do your study on the kind of conversations you want to have with her. Then before you now dive in until the level where you now ask her out. That's how it's done. All right. If you can apply such technicality to woo a girl, then that's the same approach you need to do with social media. You need to put some work on the background before you make money, and that's how it's done. So that's why some organizations prefer paying us to say, okay, you understand this technical know-how, do it for me, then I see the result, then you get paid. All right. So that's the science behind what we do, or as an organization and also as an individual. So that's it, basically, on the focus.
That's really amazing. You have to know the foundation, then afterwards know the dynamics and to capitalize on that to create work. So you said something like you can build if you can build communities, something like that, and you can build transactions. That's what I mean. And you also told us that you're even a pro in wooing ladies. You have all the techniques. You know how to about that people. That's really wonderful. That's really wonderful. Okay, so now there are lots of youths out there that using social media in a really negative manner, and you just said something about the foundation of it. Now, how do you feel about this? You're into this world. So when you see things like this, How do you feel about it? And what do you think are possible solutions that we can put in place now to check it? Because let's see it this way. We are all using something now. It's to your
Yep.
advantage, to my advantage. Now, there's a level it gets to that once it becomes abused,
Okay.
everyone is going to start, pulling out of it. There are lots of
Yeah.
people now that usually tell me, oh, you see this WhatsApp thing, I'm not doing it again. I can't, like, this whole space is just, I want to try something. I want to try something more personal that will be more private, like Snapchat. There are some others that will tell you that IG, no, I'm not on this IG thing. So, when people are pulling out that way because of abuse, the possible client base, that possible community that you can build to yield transaction, it grows. So what do you think are solutions that we can put in, we are all young people. How can we help those young people that are, causing this, that are abusing these platforms?
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for that question because it's very important. A lot of people have always talked about yes, so everything that has its advantage has its disadvantage. People are always laying emphasis on the disadvantage and all of that. But to be honest, like they always say, one of the most constant thing in life. In fact, I think is the only constant thing. I don't know, but I'm not sure. But it's definitely the only constant thing is change. Change will always happen, either you like it or not.
That's
All
right.
right. So you can't say because of I'm looking for a perfect scenario. Because of because of you are used to using, fetching water from the well, and people are now started using borehole, all right, tap water, and you now say because of there are certain challenges that comes with using tap, that no, you don't want that, using tap water is bad, and that you will keep using well water. You won't say because of what you have said,
That's
then
right.
people should stop using tap water, right? So change will always happen, either you like it or not. The thing
Or not.
is, a larger percentage will always bend to change. Do you know the reason why? It's
Sure.
simple. The reason is one of the fundamentals of human existence is adaptation. For those that study biology very well, so we humans have the tendency to adapt to things, even unconsciously. Um, it is very funny the way you go to some churches these days and they dance leg walk, and they dance. No, I'm
Shaku,
serious.
shaku. Yeah, I'm
They
with
dance
you.
shaku shaku. It's not like on a doctrine structure. It is
Right.
welcome. It's not welcomed, but you go on the road, you see people dancing it. You watch a music video, you see people dancing it. You are talking to a friend, you see someone dancing it. Consistency. Your eye keeps staring at the same thing over and over again. Your body adapts, even while you are not aware. We are all designed that way as human beings. So
Right.
change most of the time, we don't manipulate change most of the time. Change manipulates us. All right.
Mm.
So that's why sometimes we find ourselves doing certain things for no reason, and we just feel like, okay, am I following trend? No, you are not following trend. You are bound to follow trend because it's your condition as a human being. All right. So I would say there was a time I was having an issue with my younger brother, and he was complaining that he's worried about, he wants to start using phone. I think he's in GS3, and he's worried about, I want to use a phone. I want to use an Android phone. And I was like, man, when I was your age, I wasn't really thinking about this. What's going on? But it's change. It's
Yeah.
change. And that's the power. It's
He's little
change. He's seen
generation.
it. It's all around him. Like I was shocked when he took my dad's, those small phones. He took
Mm.
my dad's phone and he created a Facebook account. I was asking him, Gabriel, how did you do this thing? Like I'm surprised. Like how? How? You know, during my own time, someone had to take me to a cafe. I had to pay the person for the person to create a Facebook account for me. And the person, no, I'm saying it's my classmate. He said, no, see that account before we can create it for you. You need to pay. You are bring 200 naira. Bring 200 naira. The guy collected 200 naira. Went to cafe. He paid. He buy time. Naira. See, we are already, even those days gone. They don't scam us. So That was what happened during my own time. And my brother can use a small phone.
Yeah.
Small phone that doesn't even have the camera itself is blurry. You can't even see your face. You find your eye in your nose with that camera. He used that phone. He used that phone to create a Facebook account. So I mean, that's change. That's the power. And that's what's happening. So you can't say because of change is happening, you would it will stop because of you don't like it. All right. So as much as we lay emphasis of the disadvantage of social media, let's also look into the angle of, hey, this is where we are now. What can we do? So this is what I advise young people. What is your objective? What is your objective? What is your own, like your personal objective, right? In fact, it's the same question I ask organizations when they call me on gigs and say, okay, Mr. Tosin, we want you or we want your company to help us do social media for our brand. I ask them, what is your objective? It's the first question. What do you want to achieve? Then see social media as a tool to achieving it. Then when you see social media as a tool to achieving it, that will now determine what you will do with social media. So for people that social media is a tool for them to look for illicit content or bad content or wrong content, that is their own objective. And I don't question, there's a limit to how I can question your objective. Even down to my younger brother, there's a limit to how I can question his own personal objective. Right? So the tool is not the problem. It's objective. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is what we should focus on. So the people that invented social media, I don't want to mention names, whichever platform you want to bring in, maybe Twitter or maybe Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or what have you, people that brought up this, they created this as a platform to initiate interaction. So you now determine the kind of interaction you want to be having. Is it a business interaction? Is it a religious interaction? Is it a social interaction? Is it a political interaction? The objective is determined by you. So I would say let our focus be the objective. So for me, while I let me say 4 or 5 years ago, I decided that I wanted to use social media for two things: to learn things within my area of interest and focus, at the same time to share the little I know. So I was doing those two things consistently for 3 years, and that was one of the reasons why I became a thought leader to some extent at what I do today. So people started realizing I am consistently putting out content around the things I do. Then people started celebrating me for that. Oh, good, wow, you can be this intelligent, you can be doing this. I've seen, when people even see me, they say, I saw your work, I see your work, you are doing amazing. I see your work, you're doing amazing, because of I'm pushing it out there. All right. So that has been my objective from the start. So, and that has in return influenced the result I get. So I would say for young people, decipher your objective. I can't question your objective. So you know what you want, right? So if you want to use social media to promote yourself as a model, go ahead. If you want to use social media to promote a business, go ahead. If you want to use it to promote a product, go ahead. All right. If you want to use it to promote a relationship, go ahead. Right. So people have different. Some people are looking for husband and wife on social media. It's their focus. I am looking for the right man on social media. It's your objective. So I can't question your objective. But what I would say is the reason why we have negative use of social media is not social media. It is the person or the people in question. So what we should focus on is addressing the human dynamics itself, not the tools. All right. A friend of mine will say, whatever you use is a tool, but you are the weapon. All right. Whatever you use is a tool, but you are the weapon. So if someone holds a gun right now, the gun is just a tool. He is the weapon because he does not know how to handle the gun very well. He will shoot in the wrong spot or the wrong position. He might even shoot himself because the same Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So you can feel the gun is properly positioned on your head and you gun yourself and you're gone. All right. So the first conversation should be the human dynamics, not the tools, because in return, and what the result we get is the objective that is being concluded by the human, not the tool. You get so. Our first conversation should be the objective of social media, not social media itself.
Wow. 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 You broke down that particular school of thought, because it's definitely the school of thought, and
Yeah.
you really persisted. Permit me to use that word. I really love how you answer that question, because through that question you answered more. And this is the next question that I'd love to ask you. So I would love us to wrap this particular session, this particular phase of this discussion with this sustainability.
Okay.
Many young people have started businesses online. They've it's growing. Some of them it's not growing, and we've addressed that. It's growing for some. Now, how do they sustain it? Because it's one thing to start something, and it's one thing for it to outlive you. Personally, I don't believe in starting things and leaving it halfway. I believe in starting things and letting it outlive you. So how do we, build these things and have them outlive us?
Okay. Okay. I can't say this is the one way. In Yoruba they say "Onokon Woja," so you can't say this is the exact one way to the marketplace, right? So it works for some people this way. It works for some people that way. I mean, the business principles that work for Dangote, you can't say it's the same business principles that work for $10. So different different principles, different approaches give people different results. But I would say things from my own angle, which is what has been working for me so far. All right. So for those that will take it, if they take it, it works for them, perfect. If it doesn't, just keep doing. All right. Most of the principles I apply in business today is as a result of experience. Sometimes, I make mistakes, I learn along the line. And that's one of the things people should also pay attention to in business. It's not a one-way route, right? You will make mistakes, you will lose money. I have made mistakes with different clients, and I lost opportunities. Right? I'm talking about my early stage starting up. I made a lot of huge mistakes with clients. In fact, some of these things I told you I didn't learn, I took a job for it and I didn't know how to do it, and I could not deliver, and it messed up the relationship. Some of the clients I was able to later do stuff with later in a few years, and later on, some of them it was just like that. So at some point, some of them started seeing me and calling me names like a young boy that is incompetent. He's just eager to be something, but that he is not. All sorts of names. So it came with a lot of, I can't start telling you all my stories from the scratch. So it came with a lot of, disadvantages and challenges. But one of the things that has kept me is um, always open to the fact that I know that I would make mistakes at some point, and I learn from it, and we move. All right, that is a popular hashtag now. We move, no time. So you would always make. In fact, the foundation of business is ability to take risks, make mistakes, and learn along the line, and you move on. Okay, so when you say people started business, they failed, and I'm like, they don't fail in business, they move on, right? You don't fail in business, because if you want to be monitoring your failures, you are going to fail well. You understand? Dagote at some point in a particular part of his business, also, he has many businesses. There are some he's failing. It does not go on media. It's only the success stories we hear, because it's the success stories we want to hear. All right. So in business, you keep failing. So when people say things like, I've started this business, I'm failing. There are still other areas in my life that I'm still failing, but I'm still keeping up, moving on. That's the way it's supposed to be. I won't say I don't have my challenges. Neither would Dangote say he doesn't have his challenges. So the same person you're admiring and saying, okay, this person is good at this, is the best at this, he or she also has something he or she is working on. So there's always a room for improvement, and there's always a room for new opportunities. So logically, I would say what has been working for me, I call it the balance with finance and social. The balance with finance and social. Okay. I'll recap that. The balance with finance and social. Many people don't understand these dynamics in business, and I feel it's something that we all need to learn. Some people start a business, all right? In their first 5 years, you realize they will grow in terms of their financial wealth, and they will not grow in terms of their social wealth. Why some people start a business for their first 5 years, they grow in terms of their social wealth, and they don't grow in terms of their financial wealth. Many people don't understand this dynamic. So that's why some people start their business and they start by growing socially. All right. And they feel, look at my friend that started his own business 3 years ago. He's now making, in fact, he's now making a turnover of 2 million naira in a year. You understand? Why some like, then meanwhile, there are some other people that are making big money, but they are jealous of you because of maybe you were recently endorsed by a big brand. But meanwhile, the money they are paying you is just 100K. Do you get? So the person is jealous that you have social value.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have social value, yes, but you lack financial value. Right? Meanwhile, the person is not dealing with popular brands, he's not dealing with the big names, but he's dealing with the people that are paying in good figures. Right? So every business go through this dynamic and this period or stages in life. Every business go through that phase. And I can't say it's totally, sometimes it's influenced by the founder. All right. Some people have social credibility. So when they started the business, the business just boom. All right. It just grows up first. All right. So for me, for example, I would say it is the social angle that grew first for me. So I started getting a lot of visibility as an individual, and it was boosting the visibility of my business. Then it was later on I started making the real money. I'm like, okay, wow, I'm making the money. Why some people, they are in a situation where they are exposed to a lot of network, rich network. Let me use the word that of which we call it, some of us call it connection, right? They are not popular, they are not the big names, they are not known, but they have the few networks that they are working with and they are paying them good money. And they are making money in silence. You know, those people that they don't make noise, but the money is entering good figures, right? They don't appear on live sessions. They don't invite them for speaking engagements like I have. They are inviting me. They don't push their brand on big platforms like that, but they have some strategic networks that give them specific jobs and opportunity, and they engage those relationships and they make money. Now, everybody, we must understand this dynamics. That's why some people start the business in 5 years, they are not getting the results their other colleagues are getting, and they dive into depression. All right. So if you don't understand these dynamics, that's when you start having faults. So what I tell people is, young people, I said, monitor your social wealth. At the same time, monitor your financial wealth. Be deliberate about the two of them. Ensure that as one is, though, if you check most of the time, one will always grow better than the other. And it is dependent on certain circumstances and the founder or the owner of the business, right? So I always say, observe and monitor the growth of both and see which one is doing well for you. Now, see how you can, but most of the time, if you realize your social value as a business is high, now it's high time for you to now start paying attention to that social value and look into how you can monetize it for your business to grow. How you can monetize that social value for your business to grow. So the platforms that you are being known, how can you start marketing yourself, your company there? Right? How can you start being deliberate about what you do and the value you can add to them beyond them seeing your face and celebrating you and saying, oh, you get, how can you be deliberate? Then for those that are growing their finances, I say, now take that money you have, use it to go and buy social, because you also need social too. All right. Brands like, I don't want to mention it, but brands like some banks, now you see them start engaging themselves in social projects and social activities. Why? Is because of they have the money, they have customers, but their focus now is they want to be socially relevant in the community. So they start doing what they call social, what do they call it? Social CSR or something like that. Social responsibilities. They start doing all those things. And the core idea of doing all those things is to increase that are social relevant. So for young people starting business, to wrap it up, for young people starting business, I would say pay attention to which part you are growing as a business. Is it social or financial? Then look into how your financial can get you social value. At the same time, also look into how your social can be strategically looked upon to reduce and get financial results. All right. So, but there's no need for anybody to be depressed. We will all grow in our own time. Everybody has their own time. So we all grow in our own time. But just pay attention to what works for you and leverage on it and get results. All right.
It has been a session of sessions. A session of sessions. I mean, it's so amazing you having me join the Zoom call today. It's really, I've learned a lot from you, and I believe you've seen everyone that has joined us in this call here, live in Zoom here and live on YouTube. It's so amazing. You have spoken very well, and I really value the expertise that you have in what about your expertise. I really value it. And the knowledge you have about what you do, how you can communicate it out. I agree with you when you say you have a very strong communication skill. It's really wonderful. It's an asset. You are doing great job. So now, remember I told you it's a three-phase discussion. And I told you, remember when we were discussing earlier on, as I told you, I wouldn't tell you the last phase that it's going to be a surprise. And I said, do you like surprises? Then you sent a sticker where you were dancing or something like that. So now, are you ready for the surprise?
Okay, no problem. I don't like surprises actually, because
you don't like surprises?
My temperament does not work with surprises. I like on the go. What do you want to give me? Give it to me now. Tell me in time. Let me know what I'm doing in life. You understand? That's my kind of lifestyle. But if you want to do surprise, no problem. Surprise can really spoil my day. Most especially when my expectation is very high, you now low it. Or my expectation is very low, you now high it. You can put me on an emotional, state of disbalance. So, but anyway, it's fine. Let's see how the surprise will go. But don't shock me. I'd want to breathe properly. Don't choke me.
Okay, I shouldn't choke you.
I
shouldn't choke you. Okay, I won't choke you. Now your emotion is very high, so I'll take it even higher. Is that fine?
No problem.
No problem. All right, so we want to know that part of you that you said something about people that those business leaders that are in the forefront. I know you've made the face of many magazines. You're a celebrity. So even myself, I want to be like you when I grow up. So now I've been telling you that, and I thought I'm going to buy that your car so that I'll be looking. So you say something?
No, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm with you.
All right. So now let's know that part of you that not everyone knows. I want to ask you some questions. Don't worry. Don't let the temperament go low now.
Okay.
Just calm. Keep it calm. Cool.
Okay.
So the first question is this. I know you love food a lot, right? Or you don't like food?
I love food.
Yeah, I can see it.
I love food. I don't know, but this is one of the reasons I don't like eating in public settings, because I won't dismantle the thing the way I want to if I'm within my hands.
But when you get home, you break it down totally into pieces.
Yes.
And
you do proper justice.
Pastor TOSIN.
Man of God.
My father in the Lord. You're not my new father in the Lord. And I think my mother in the Lord. So what's your best food?
Oh, for someone that likes food, you can't say, for someone that likes food, you can't say, okay, I would say, I love oha soup. I've not been eating it. Oha soup. I've not been eating it.
I'm an Igbo man, so of course I would have eaten oha soup.
So oha soup, correct one. Where you have a lot of rudiments and particles around it. Oha soup. Then you cool swallow, maybe semo or akpo.
Apple. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God. Oh, GB.
So no, it's people. A lot of people ask me why does a Yoruba boy has like I am have taste for different varieties or cultural vast cultural taste. I am a Yoruba boy, but a lot of people don't know that my mom is from Delta State. So
Wow.
yeah, so I am sort of not fully Yoruba, but because of you hear the name, like this guy is a deep Yoruba. Yes, I am a deep Yoruba boy, but my mom is from Delta, so I have this vast, preference in terms of food, cultural understanding, and the like. So yeah.
That's amazing. Don't worry, God is going to give you an Igbo wife.
Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
I can't see that now.
What is your best fashion brand? Or how is your fashion sense like?
Okay, fashion sense. I think you already have an idea.
Yeah, the
I
cap.
can't say
The cap.
fashion brand. I would say fashion sense. Right? It doesn't matter the brand. As far as you give me what I like,
The
I'm
cap
cool
and
with
the
it.
glasses.
I like cool. I like cool native. That it's simple. Okay, cool native. And my colors revolve around black and red. Right.
Mm.
So if you most likely see me on a native outfit that I love,
Yeah.
it's either it is connecting, there's a touch of something black related. Just as you can see now, you can see I'm on black throughout.
Black is
You get
beautiful.
so it's either I am putting on that touch of black or the touch of red somehow. Somewhat. You always find it in my outfit. Right.
Yeah.
Then I love double-breasted suit.
Mm.
Um, I think I used to wear. I have a lot of double-breasted suit, but recently my preference has been for native attires most of the time, which is the simple Yoruba native attires for guys. So clean one, casual wears, clean one. But I still have that taste for double-breasted suits. It has always been my thing. So yeah, that's more or less like my fashions. And you always see me with glasses.
And
Always see me with glasses.
wow, you also forgot one thing.
Yeah.
That we always see you with. Should I remind you?
Okay, no. I think that the cap thing is something that started, I think, 3 years ago. Right?
Mm.
I don't. Yes, it started 3 years ago. 3 years. Yes, 2018. Yes, 2018. 2018 is 3 years ago. Yes, started because initially I wasn't the cap guy. In fact, I don't just wear all kind of. There are specific kind of caps I wear. I think you are familiar with those caps. In
Yeah.
fact, people these days start wearing them because I see this cap into see it makes sense. So I just think it works fine with my face, maybe the shape of my face. So I just enjoy putting it. And you will hardly see me on the cap without the glasses because it has an impression it sells. And I love that impression. Right?
Hmm.
It sells an impression of someone that is smart, is
Hmm.
intelligent, and he also has cultural understanding. And that is what I've been projecting within the last few years.
Okay, let's take this. What's your best book of all time?
Book.
Your best book of all time.
Best book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
That's amazing. And your best travel destination.
Oh, travel destination. Oh,
Monaco, Seychelles, the
no, no, no,
Maldives.
no, no. No. Like my best travel destination is still within Nigeria. All right.
Will be in Nigeria.
Yes, it's still in Nigeria,
Hmm.
and that is my fatherland, Ondo State.
Really?
Yes, because when I traveled then with my dad, I was still very young, and it was an amazing experience. We traveled to, I don't know if you've heard of Idonri Hills before.
Yeah, I don't
Idonri.
realize. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we went there, and we also, we went through the village, Odedele, it was just an amazing experience. And there was a time where we were eating pounded jam constantly. I got to a stage where in a public family meeting, I had to say, I said, Mommy, since when we come here now, pounded jam, there's this traditional soup we used to eat, Moru Obe Marubo, we call it Obe Marubo in Ondo State. So we used to eat that soup consistently, and anything we are eating revolve around yam. And I was tired. I said, Mommy, give me rice. I want to eat rice. Give me
Because
rice.
when if you
You
don't
know,
eat rice, you will not rise. I mean,
you
that's
will
not
not
one of your
rise,
food.
my brother. If you don't eat rice, you will not rise. Okay,
Oh,
so So for me,
So if you
it
don't
was an
eat beans,
amazing
what will
experience.
happen?
Maybe you will remain short. I don't know of that one. Remain short. You know, grow taller. Anyway, for me, it was an extraordinary experience. It was touching the culture, getting to connect with other village folks, some that are not that might not be as learned as you are, but you can also see things from a different perspective. Even at that my young age, then it just gave me different exposure.
Someone's my big auntie, you're my daddy Gio. You're my father in the Lord now. So my mother in the Lord is here. She said that this is too funny. You said that you are also a comedian. So I don't know. You are too funny. All right. So it's Nigeria you want, right? It's Nigeria. That's your
Yes.
first travel destination. Ondo State, Nigeria.
Sorry?
Ondo State,
Ondo
Nigeria.
State.
Your
Yes,
first
Ondo
travel
State,
destination.
Nigeria. Yes, Ondo
You
State,
deserve an
Nigeria.
award though. GCFR.
No, no,
Very
no, no.
good.
I'm not like those people. I'm not like those people that segregate where they come from, because I realize we are always quick to talk about my travel experience when I went to South
US,
Africa, when I
UK, all
went
those
to
things.
Dakar, when I went to Kigali, all those things. And I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
great, fantastic. But sometimes we fail to observe the beauty and nature in what we have, in what we
Mr. Nigeria.
Yes, it's funny, but we fail to embrace that. What we just lack here is leadership. Is what we lack is
That's right.
leadership. If we have leaders that actually looking, I mean, just look. I just look at it. Just take a Google. If you haven't visited it, just Google Idorin Hills. There's a whole lot of amazing things that can be done in those. Those are powerful tourist attraction in Nigeria. So there's a whole lot that can be done, but it's just like the leadership is not really paying attention to what they should pay attention. Like, I mean, the Dubai that we celebrate today, the first
Wasn't
thought was
that
to make it to
yesterday?
become a desirable nation. So their first focus to grow the economy then was tourism. And that was what they used to generate a lot of money that they are using to develop the country today. So I would say leadership, but we should also learn to embrace. In fact, the first step to investing in our land is embracing the beauty of what we already have.
You know what you just said now would make Auntie Tolu attack me this evening because we are always arguing about Nigeria. So I have to run away from here now, so you don't say anything about Nigeria again. All right. So now let's wrap up with this because I would love those of us in Zoom to say one or two things so we can leave here by 5. We've stayed so long. Mr. Toshi, you've made me to laugh and laugh out my what did I say? Uncle Tosin, you've made me to laugh so much today. So now on an ending note, what makes you happy? Because I see you're a really happy and jolly person. So what makes you happy?
Okay. I will connect it to one. I will connect it to one thing. To be honest, I don't have the money I really desire to have right now. All
Don't
right.
worry, you have it.
I don't have the social status I really desire. I know I have a lot of young people out there that admire me and say, "Oh, Mr. Tosin, I love what you are doing. I want to be
I
like you." I
admire
say,
you.
yeah, so I don't have all I really desire yet. But one thing that comes outstanding for me and it really makes me happy a lot of time is when I find a platform to make other versions of myself.
Hmm.
Let me explain that in simpler context. When I see a platform to recreate myself, to create me in other people, all right?
Hmm.
Nothing excites me to the fact that when you tell me that, Mr. Tosin, I admire you, I see what you're doing, and it inspires me a lot, all right? That is like the peak of my happiness when I see, no matter the relationships I have, even down to my boss, right?
Hmm.
As an entrepreneur, you have plenty bosses. You
That's
understand? When you are a career person, you have a boss. But as an entrepreneur, you have bosses, right? So
right.
you get to that stage where you even inspire your clients. You
Hmm.
understand? Your clients look at what you do and you're like, Mr. Tosin, you are doing well. Thank you for what you do.
Right.
You're adding extra value. It's excitement for me, it's happiness for me. So even down to my family, sometimes my mom look at me and say, Tosin, you are doing well. I like what they do. They inspire me, self. We born you, that kind of thing. It gives me joy. Even sometimes my dad will sit me down and say, Tosin, sit down, more talk, more gist, more rapport. You understand? And because of they just like that avenue of you sitting down with them, talking to them, sharing wisdom, and that is the peak of happiness for me. And no matter where I am, no matter what I do, it's something I will keep doing. Keep creating a better version of myself in other people, through my words, through my actions, through my work, That's the peak of happiness for me. And that's what makes me happy. I could say everything is connected to the way I use my mouth. It could be making people laugh. It could be sharing ideas. It could be sharing wisdom. It could be sharing my experience. But it's all connected to how I use my mouth to make things happen around me. Right.
That's right. Wow. 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 This session was so exciting. It's no doubt one of the best sessions I've had so far in this whole series today with Kids today. And discussing with you here, Tosin, is so wonderful. I'm so pleased, so excited to have had you join us today. And I have no doubt about it that definitely God is going to continue to use you to do great and mighty things. You are simply exceptional. You are just you are phenomenal. That's, I don't know. English language has limited me by words. You are phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
so
you.
excited having you. Someone was the one that introduced me to you, and I think she joined you joined us this evening. Like she's your biggest fan, but I won't say expressive name, so you don't go and you just told us about your wooing experiences. So you want to talk
this guy, you're funny.
thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we would end the meeting here. We wrap it up. That was an amazing session with Tosin. By 9 p.m. this evening, we are going to have another worship session, the Kids Worship Night. But today's worship session is going to be in a different dimension. We are going to be having some foreign worship. Foreign worship is a compilation of different worship ministrations from wonderful worship ministers from across the nations of the earth, and we're going to be listening to it, blessing our life with it. Tosin said something about God, and all of our speakers that have been speaking have been talking about God. Without God, we are nothing. We are all pencils in the hands of the Creator. So thank you very much for joining us this session. Everyone in Zoom that joined us this call. To all those that joined us via YouTube, I appreciate you. See you at 9 p.m. Bye for now.